The best beginner pets are hamsters. They live for 5 days and don't require any food or water. Hello, pioneers, and thank you for joining me. My name is Bedward Teach, also known as the dreaded pirate Bedbeard. On the last episode, we built this little storage area and this item highway running over, and I moved the hub over here. Between episodes, I doubled the power by replicating the power plant that we already had built, so you didn't miss much there. And I cleaned up the sides of this. We're still going to add some three-dimensional interest to this at a later date, but right now, in today's episode, we're going to build a factory for steel. Right now, we've unlocked steel, but we're not making any of the products. We have steel beams and steel pipes to automate. And that's it. So in our attempt to progress at the speed of automation, we're going to get the steel beams and steel pipes, a factory built, and then truck them over here. So let's find some coal. Okay, perfect. I think that's the node I've pre-planned to use for fuel for trucks. So this is the one we're going to use to build steel. Gather some base building supplies and we'll head over there. Okay, just running over, I can scan and see that the coal node is right up here. Yep, there, just pinged. I really had planned to use this big crater as a concrete factory, but maybe it'd be a cool place for our steel factory instead. Okay, coal node is up on top of this. What do you call this thing? An outcropping? A cliff? Okay, so we have coal right there. For steel, we also need iron. So let's find some of that nearby. Perfect. Excellent. Oh, there's concrete right there. Or limestone, I mean. We don't have access to the encased iron beams, the encased steel beams yet. But when we do, we'll need to take the steel beams and add some concrete to it. So this will be really helpful right here too. Yeah, so here's the spot. Here is where the steel factory will go.
Breaking news from Earth. widespread chaos and mayhem, world president urges all citizens to do their part and harvest alien artifacts.
Okay, to orient this thing, I don't really care about the world grid because I'm going to try to use trucks to take them over. To take over the resources to put into storage. But I do kind of want it to be lined up with the coal so I can have a supported arm going over there. So let's use this rock. Oops. Let's use this as a guide. So we can zoom some over and know where we want to build. Yeah, there we go. Now I can switch it to vertical. And 4 meter. There. Okay, I wonder if I can fit the miner on top of the foundation if it's this high. No, see, it's too tall or too high above the node. It's going to just clip through. That's okay though. I can lower this down. There, putting it on 1 meter foundations. So that should definitely work. Okay, while I was laying down that foundation, the hard drive I was researching in the MAM finished, and I get this excellent screw recipe right here. It's 260 screws per minute. It's really good. If you're using screws. Let's build a second floor. 2, 3, 4, 5 is what it took last time, if I recall correctly. Running back to get some power, I've come across these guys. These are plants that will emit that poison gas and will kill you. But luckily, as opposed to those green poison gas rocks, these creatures or plants, or I don't know what they are, can be destroyed with an obelisk. And then you can go in the area without the gas, so something to consider. So yeah, I just ran back towards our little storage area and grabbed the power from the copper sheet area, because again, I think I mentioned it before, but I like to just keep one power grid across the whole map. So I don't want to have to worry about separate power plants. I'm going to have power plants in their own area, and then power lines interconnected everywhere. Eventually, when we do run train tracks, the train tracks also conduct power. So that's a cool way to get transportation to, say, a really far outpost and transmit power at the same time. So what I really wanted this power for, though, was jump pads. Should make building this factory a lot easier. That's awesome. Alright, so we're going to have coal coming in from this branch, and we'll have iron being produced downstairs. So this looks like a pretty good spot right here to put our foundries. I did not need to check the purity so we know how much material we're working with here. So let's run over and investigate that coal node really quick. Ooh, excellent. This is a pure node. So we're going to get 120 out of it per minute. And those, we had 2 normal iron nodes over there. So we're going to have 120 of that per minute. All right, let's see what we're working with. Let's pull out a foundry. And we can check. The only thing we can make in it right now is steel ingots. And we need 45 of each one. So, to do the math again, we're going to say we're going to have 120 of each one divided by 45. So it's 2 2/3 machine. But that seems hard. So right away we can see we could just lower this down to 40. And now we'll have each machine, or we'll have 3 machines running at 100% efficiency because 40 plus 40 plus 40 is 120. Okay, as night falls on us, I would like to remind you at this moment that you can hit B to turn on a little headlamp. And don't forget that all this information and your most useful hotkeys are shown in the bottom right of the screen. Alrighty, I want 2 meter foundation. Like that as a kind of a pedestal, I think, for the foundry. Not sure how long they are. Okay, and it needs to be 1 step further back. I want this leg to be right here. Just like that. I also need to be sure that floor holes can click into this far away. So let's be back 1. Oh dear. Oh, that's just too far away. So there, like that. Yes, excellent. All right, let's attach these belts now. I like to put them up on pedestals like that because I don't see it very often, for one. And for 2, I think it looks kind of cool. We can put some walls on it and around it and make it a cool color or something. So the coal is right over there. Let's bring the coal in from underneath as well, maybe? I can't decide if it's going to be easier to see like this or with the light. All right, let's grab a wall to build another floor above us. Go up 1, 2, 3. Let's see if that's... It is high enough because there was no clipping. Okay, so now we're going to want some outputs to go up. Let's see if that's far enough. It is. Yeah, so I think this floor only needs to be this wide. All right, so now these floor holes will be providing us 40 steel per minute. So let's try to use some of that. Pull out a constructor. So for steel beams, we need 60 per minute. And for steel pipes, we need 30 per minute. So I haven't touched on this yet, but these steel beams, not these steel pipes, but the steel beams right here are the Mark III belts. So I want a lot of those. So I think I'll use 90 of the steel for the steel beams, and then the 30 for the pipes. And that should give us a nice amount of minimum production, but enough to start stockpiling for our use. I want to merge these belts and then have a proper amount of a manifold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the belt work in just one little wedge like this. Kind of like a belt sandwich floor. There, now we're going to want to merge them. So I hit 5 to bring up the splitter, tap E to pull up the merger. And I don't actually need a merger for the first one. Merge these together. There. Now we'll have 120 steel coming out of this. Okay, 2, 3. And I have something to stand on. Now let's get our constructors out. This constructor is going to be, well, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter, does it? So that'll be steel pipes using 30. And we'll set this one to steel beam and this one to steel beam. And I'm going to set this to 50%. 50% will make this need 30 per minute, while this one needs 60 per minute. So 30 plus 60 is 90, which leaves us with 30 per minute more, which means this one will get fed properly. Alright, since these are both going to produce the same item, I'm going to merge them. Perfect. And now let's add conveyor wall 1 right there. Conveyor wall 1. So now what this does is it has a attachment point for conveyor belts built right into the wall. So to use that, we're just going to run a belt right to it. Now we need to go down to the floor below it and hook all these belts up. The easiest way to do that would be to, I think, run these conveyor lifts down like this. And then have a splitter go like that. So we'll need Mark II belts. Hit 3 for the belts, tap E, put that right into there. Now we can use Mark I belt from here, and we will need a Mark II belt to that one. And then we can go back to Mark I belts. I wanted to make it pretty. Take it to the intersection where the lines show up, go back 2. There. Again, somebody asked me why I don't do that all the time, because the answer is I don't care. I'm never going to see inside of here. I'm going to wall this up. And I don't need to see this beltwork, because on this particular factory, the beltwork is hidden. Maybe in a different factory you want the beltwork to be the main focus, in which case then I would probably spend the time to make it 90-degree turns, nice and straight, organized. But in this particular build, the constructors and foundries are the emphasis. So there, that's it. Now we have to run power and attach the resources to the inputs and outputs, and we're done. And then we'll do some trimming. In fact, since I'm up here right now, I'm going to start trimming. Nice lime or black. I know I use black a lot. That's why it's my custom swatch. Almost always. But I just like the way this looks. It holds it up to be in the spotlight without distracting. Let's build some walls with some windows so we can look out over the world. All right, and now just regular walls. Okay, yes, let's get rid of this. We don't have doors yet, so we'll just leave it open. That'll be the door. Use some catwalks, I think. All right, so where do we want to be able to walk to? We don't need to go in there ever again. Here, this is where we want to go. So we'll want to go down to this level here. We want to have a corner. Yep, like that. Oops, wrong button. A little misclick, there we go. And we're going to do the same thing on this side now, so we'll have kind of a cool up and down path to go to. Oh, actually, right here. Just going to work really nicely because I think, yes, we're not going to have any clipping, and this tree can stay and look awesome. So now I want to have a doorway 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 deep. So 1, 2, and the third one is where the middle is B. So I want to run some T's. Excuse me, not, yeah, the T crossing. Here we go. To that one. And actually one more. So this will be the door. So then we'll have walls here. I'm gonna need a place to run coal. I'm gonna do it right under this. We'll come back and swap some of these out to windows in a little while. Once we get a feel for the shape of the whole building. Like already, I'm pretty sure I want this to be a window here and there and there. There. Remember to replace a window with it, or to replace an item with a like item. Like in this case, a 4-meter wall with a 4-meter window wall. You just hold Control and then click. Yeah. So the walkways kind of wrap around the building like a big hug. I love steel. Now that I'm thinking about it, and just thinking out loud here, when I go out to where the truck stations will be down here, where the outputs are coming. See, the outputs aren't going to be symmetrical. They aren't symmetrical. So we might not want to add tons of symmetry, because then it'll look like a mistake instead of a natural flow of a building. Okay, I've got an idea already. Let's run something. I want it a little bit higher. Yeah, right there. It's going to add some depth. And then what we can do is replace that. We can replace that window with a wall again. Use a double conveyor up here. And this will be where our products come down. This will probably need to be changed. I'm just illustrating, thinking out loud, brainstorming an idea. Now with 4-meter one. All right, let's make this concrete. There, something like that. So now it is symmetrical. So now we can continue the symmetry. And continue the symmetry we shall. Ooh, this is an excellent opportunity to see if that's going to clip in. Oh no, not even close. In fact, it's going to be really cool. Can build some sort of viewing platform up there, even though that thing is disgusting and I don't know why you'd want to look at it. Alright, so now we can build a corner like that, and then a ramp. Like that. There. Alright, sorry, I find it difficult sometimes to speak while building, and especially because I'm making this up as I go. It's an iterative design process. I'm not following a plan. I'm doing this by the seat of my pants. Oh, that's right. I started double wide. I went down to single. Let's just take this out then. What I'd like to add is maybe some triangular inverted foundation pieces, but you have to unlock that in the awesome shop. And we have not done that yet. See, there's inverted ramps, inverted triangle corners, rounded stuff. Hey, Frankie. Jean-Jacques, Frankie, Jacques, Jean. Bonjour. Oh dear. So in all my bright planning here, I missed that miner sticks out that far. And let's see if we can make it seem like added interest and not sloppy planning. Once we unlock some steel, there's some steel frame stuff that'll look really cool framing that. Once we get some more coupons. Right now I'm just looking around the building to find a good spot to run power lines in and out. Also, let's see, I'm going to play around with a concrete wall stripe or something. All right, I'm finding it to be too flat still for my taste. So I'm going to take a 4-meter foundation and I'm going to drop it down into the earth. Like that. Kind of looks like a rampart almost, something like that. Paint that one slight orange. The concrete doesn't color up very brightly. It's not very saturated. So it gives it just kind of a nice contrast. Alright, so if you're struggling with boxy factories, you know, I basically just built a box because I wanted to illustrate how you can kind of spice it up, since we were talking about it with that thing right over there. Okay, I'm in picture mode right now. You get into picture mode by pressing P, and you can use your mouse wheel to zoom in, and you can left click to take screenshots. Also in the bottom left you can see the other options. You can take turn high res on and off. You can also click the middle mouse button to eliminate all of the HUD and stuff like that. So, another useful tool. But by adding interest, by adding a different color or material, something standing out from it, in this case both a different color, it's just adding a little bit of variation, and makes it look less like a box and more like a factory where stuff's happening. We're not done. This isn't perfect. It's still quite boxy. Well, actually, maybe we are done. I don't know. But I mean to say it's not perfect. I would add different interest. However, this is one of our first independent factories. We're still limited by what we've unlocked in the Awesome Shop. And until, you know, you're very late game and you've unlocked everything, that's something everybody's going to deal with. So run some power lines. In fact, we never built a rampart out the back, and that's exactly what we'll use the back for. It's for running power lines. Using this wall, we'll be able to run power lines. So double outlet right there to a double outlet right there. Actually, we can use a single outlet right there. When you use the double outlet, this side can have 4 connections, this side can have 4 connections, and they are electrically connected to each other. So we'll be able to run power up and down this wall into each floor, and then from each floor to the machines. In fact, we don't need to run this anywhere else. So I can go ahead and attach all 3 just to the one outlet. Okay, I can explain something real quick right here too. See, I just did that incorrectly because I got the line, but that line, the centering line was for the centering of this foundation and the wall, which isn't the centering I want. I wanted it to this port. So if you're going to run straight belts, keep that in mind. All right, let's just add a little bit more interest with some road barriers. Does that look cool? Or does a railway look better? I think a railway looks better. The hazard stripe on the road barrier is a little distracting. So we're down below at the inputs here. And so we're going to need some conveyor lifts. Remember, these are going into the foundry. So we're going to need one of the pair to be coal and one to be iron. This has 60, and this has 60. So what we can actually do is, instead of combining it all into one line and then splitting it off, we can just take a splitter so there. Now that's going to split off 30 to there and 30 this way. But this one's going to need 40. So we're going to put a merger right here. It goes into there. It goes into that lift. So it's going to take 30 to this one, even though it needs 40, and 30 to this one, even though this needs 40. And we're going to do the same thing right here. From here. So now this 60 belt's going to split 30 into there, even though it needs 40, and 30 over here, which is 30 plus 30, which is 60 going into this one, even though it only needs 40. So just like the last time, the way the manifold works is this is going to be fed more than it needs. At one point, the whole machine's going to fill up with product. The material is going to back up on these belts, and then once it backs up each direction, they'll all be running at 100% efficiency. That's the way the manifold works. You have the right amount of material coming in for the amount of material that needs to be used, and you don't have to worry about setting it up into specific perfect ratios, because as the machines fill up, it'll balance itself out. It's really, really valuable. You know what? This is the ground floor. This is going to need a double wall outlet, because we're going to run the power into the whole building from this spot right here. Okay, we brought the power over early for our jump pad, which is useful. Just kind of want to run it along over here. There. So now we've got power coming into there, going into here. These machines are firing up. All right, double wall outlet. To a single wall outlet. All right, haha, I've been waiting to show you this. This is a new thing in Update 6. I want to add a Mark 1 outlet to connect the power into here. What I can do is I can click the power line, and then I can move the power line and automatically add a new pole to it. I just want it to be straight right there. But now I can add power to these foundries. And look at it like that. They've got power, they've got iron. The foundries need coal, and then these will start getting there. steel. All right, similar to the belts, these lifts, you do the same thing, Mark 1 and Mark 2. Whenever you unlock a new belt speed, you get the lift option as well. Like I said, this foundation line is temporary. Let me show you. I showed this stuff for an awesome shot. These architecture right here, these pillar sets, the small frame pillar right there, the belts fit really cool inside of those. I could probably run it across on a small concrete pillar too, but whatever, it's good for right now. All right, Mark II. Oh, that needs to be Mark II. Remember, just like belts and power poles, that I could just click a Mark I belt when I have a Mark II selected and it will automatically switch. All right, last but not least, I don't like the way these hang back there. It looks unsupported. So I'm going to put some more of those supports in. And make it look like a building. Okay, that's going to wrap up the factory build. It's steel beams and steel pipes. Very basic, kind of a blocky shape that we will try to avoid in the future when we unlock more things in the awesome shop. And look here, there comes our first steel beam coming down the way. It's good, that means it's working. Next episode, we'll set up our first truck transportation and we'll start trucking these materials over to the base. Sounds good. See you next time. Bye. Episode over.